Hi, Reddit. I'm coming here as a last resort because I think my marriage of 5 years is ending. I feel like my life is falling apart and it's all my fault. My husband found out through a friend that I had cheated on him twice, both times with men I met at a bar. I never had any other affairs and I never saw either of the men ever again after the initial encounters. A friend that I was at the bar with during the second encounter took it upon herself to tell my husband, and he, understandably, freaked out. He asked me if it had ever happened before, and I decided to be honest and said yes, only one other time. This seemed to make it even worse, and he packed a bag immediately and left. He didn't answer in calls for a couple of days after he walked out. When I was finally able to get a hold of him, he immediately told me that we were going to get a divorce. I talked him down eventually over the next couple of days, and at last he agreed to try marriage counseling. He said that he was willing to hear me out, but that he didn't think it would change his mind. When it came time to our first appointment, he never showed up and said that he couldn't handle seeing me yet. I was upset, but the counselor said to give him time and let him process his emotions. I ended up canceling the rest of the appointments when he said that he likely wouldn't go to those either. He finally agreed to meet in person and came to the house. He's been staying at his brother's house since he found out, and that was when he told me that he felt like divorce was his only option. I told him it wasn't, and that I was willing to do anything it took to convince him I would never cheat again. He seemed like he was hardly listening to me while I spoke, which was very frustrating. It's almost like he is holding himself back purposely from putting any effort into fixing our marriage. I've done everything I can think of, but nothing is enough. I don't want 5 amazing years to go down the drain because of 2 stupid, drunk decisions. Should I start considering divorce to be a real possibility? I never thought he would react like this. Has anyone been in a situation like this and somehow fixed it? Update 1. He agreed to meet in person again, but the meeting was short. I cried and begged him to give me another chance. He asked me why and said that I had already blown 2 chances anyways. I asked him why he refused to put any effort into this and told him I was willing to do anything to stay with him. He stayed silent and glared at me the whole time. He uses the silent treatment in arguments a lot, so I wasn't surprised, but it made me mad. I finally asked him if the last 5 years had meant anything to him. He told me that it didn't seem to mean anything to me if I was willing to throw it all away for some strangers at a bar. I just kept crying and saying how sorry I was. He looked so sad after he said that, and then after a while he left. I feel so much worse after this last conversation. I regret getting mad at him, but he's been so frustrating and I feel so helpless. I don't think there's anything I can do to save our marriage. This is mostly just a vent post. Update 2. I've been served with divorce papers. I knew it was coming, but I didn't want to believe it. He didn't even do it in person. It came in the mail. I'm completely heartbroken right now. A part of me still wants to fight this and refuse to sign. I don't want to walk away from this relationship so easily. It feels like giving up. I've been seeing a therapist on my own, and he advised me not to fight it and to make things easier on him. I will probably just sign, but it hurts so much. I let a couple of stupid decisions ruin everything we had. Now for some comments, I'm really sorry you're going through this. It sounds incredibly painful, and it's clear you deeply regret your actions. However, trust is the foundation of any relationship, and once it's broken, it's extremely difficult to rebuild. Your husband's reaction is understandable. It seems like he has made up his mind. Sometimes, no matter how much you want to make things right, the other person may not be able to move past the hurt. Focus on your healing and learn from this experience. If he ever decides to try again, it will be on his terms, and you will need to respect that. First off, I'm really sorry you're going through this. It sounds incredibly tough. From what you've described, it seems like your husband is still in a lot of pain and is processing things in his own way. The fact that he served you with divorce papers through the mail shows how hurt and detached he feels. I feel the kindest thing you can do for someone you love is to respect their decision and allow them the space they need to heal. You need to continue with therapy and take this as a learning experience. Make sure it doesn't affect your future relationships. Story 2. Background: married for 4 years, filed for divorce last June. Have a wonderful 8 years old. She was caught cheating 2015 and got caught again in 2017 with the same guy. She is known to be a party girl. Clubs know her really well. DUI with minor, our son, inappropriately exposing our child to her infidelity, OD on stolen prescription meds, texting and driving, and lastly, obstruction to vehicle. My STBXW recently got into a car accident. Our son was inside the vehicle Jetta. According to our son, he said that his mom was texting and driving, and a car was close behind her. When she needed to turn, she didn't slow down, but instead cut a fast turn where she lost control and hit the median curb and wall. She drove off it and parked in our neighborhood. Oil fluid was everywhere. Anyways, the car is registered to my mom and dad. It was supposed to transfer to my STBX, but due to conflicts of her adultery, she became spiteful and refused to transfer titles. My mother bought a Civic for my little brother, using my wife's and my name. I also bought a car for myself with both of our names as owners. Anyways, this entire divorce, my ex was fighting for full custody of child, house, and ownership to one of the cars. Her logic is that she's the innocent one in the marriage, that she suffered from unusual punishment. Also, she constantly brings up that 2 years ago, I called my son dumb for breaking the TV, and that's her reasoning as to why I don't deserve to raise my son. Anyways, all that was proven wrong, and she forgot we have security cameras all over the house, have tapes of her boyfriend coming and dropping her off, them together. My son at 5 years old crying that he saw mommy in bed with another man. Her denying rides to work because she preferred to walk. Her BF took her to work. I yelled at my son once for swinging on our TV mount, but it wasn't irrational, didn't lay hands on him either. So she wrecked the car and it is considered totaled. Payout is roughly 3-4K. She's currently driving her boyfriend's car. She finally admitted to her adultery now. Took her long enough. She is demanding the money from the accident to buy a new car. State that she still wants the Civic and house in full custody of child. I legit laughed. We aren't obligated to give her that money whatsoever. Spoke to my lawyer on making her an offer. I get to keep the house because it's technically my mom's. She loaned the money to me to buy it since she lost her house. My grandparents, brother and mother, live with me as well. The Civic gets transferred to my mother because she's the one who paid for everything for that vehicle. Lexus to me because I paid for that car still, and that is my only vehicle to drive to work. 50/50 W/joint of child. And I give her $5K, no community debts, and she can take all the marriage assets, bed and furniture. Also, of course, 50/50 custody. Do you guys think that is a fair deal? Update, thank you to everyone who've been keeping up with this horrendous divorce of mine. Yesterday was the official day I signed off my divorce with my now ex-wife. Monday, it will be finalized by a judge. My cheating ex of 5 years, still in denial of her infidelity of 4 years. Her family flew from South America to Texas 3 weeks ago. There were a lot of tensions because 1, my ex lied that my family and I mistreated her, and I was the one who did wrong. A week into their arrival, they witnessed the truth. The infidelity, her negligence as a mother, my son's horrible tantrum, and her lack of attention span to them. They saw the actual photos and reports of her endangering our son by drinking and driving. Most disappointing was how she plastered me as the horrible husband who also abused our son. They see how my family and I try to do this peacefully, trying to make the divorce fair and healthy. I was willing to assist her even though she didn't deserve it. My son is well behaved when he is with me. They see how our son needs a father in his life, because my ex neglects the responsibility as a parent. They shut her down when she tried to defend or tell them what she demands. Immediately, she shuts up when her mom and grandma tell her to. Her irrationality, rudeness, and greediness was tamed. They agree to everything I wish for. 50/50 custody. I pay for everything for my son, health insurance, school, sport activities, etc. Only thing is, she will provide food and clothes for our son at her residence. She was crying about not having money for food and gas because she spends $300/week eating out. She only makes $2K per month, and she stopped paying for bills at home. Anyways, her mom slapped her with the learn to cook now. She finally moved out. Now she has to pay rent and all of her bills. I felt bad and I agreed to pay her contractual alimony, of $500 ends on 12/2020. And I keep my mother's house and 2 cars. And she gets money. She is now not allowed to drink when our son is in her possession. She also cannot pawn him off to strangers to go party anymore. Hopefully this will work out. I know she will remarry soon to her BF of 4 years. Who knows? I know she will be fine in the future. I just hope my son is fine in the future. But that's a story to be told on a different post. I am free. No more seeing her daily, having her interrupt me as I work. No more fighting over stupid stuff. No more having her call the cops on me for wanting to take my son out. No more having her BF involving me when he has a fight with her. No more of her total BS. I am free to care for my son. I hope you gained full custody, OP. She's the epitome of an unfit mother. DUI while with the child and exposing your child to probably sexual acts is just insane. If a man did all these things, he'd be in jail for life. Anyways, I'm glad you get to keep your house and the cars. It's a blessing they were in your mother's name. Had they been in your name, you'd lose them too. She is a train wreck, OP. At least be happy that you're free from her. Why do I have a feeling it won't take very long before she blows up her life in style and you'd get a front row seat to the show?